Welcome back. This is the 81st segment of Making Sense for 7 minutes, and it is the 11th segment of 25, where we are taking a hard look at evil and suffering. Now, excuse me. I'm sorry. It's been a long day, and these 7 minutes are going to go by much easier if I can just guess. I'm sorry. Would you like some? Well, of course, under the circumstances, you're going to have to get your own, unless you're under 18, in which case your parents are going to have to get it for you. Now, this hard look that we're taking at evil and suffering is being seen through the lens of a biblical worldview. Now, what we have done so far in past segments is we have looked at 5 different appeals, defenses, if you will, for how in the presence of such pervasive evil and suffering in our world, we could continue to assert and affirm, as the Bible does, that God is all loving and all powerful. Well, what I want us to do now is begin to look at the fact that this all loving, all powerful creator of the universe, who really is the one and only true, all-powerful, all-loving creator of the universe that actually exists, that he has communicated to us through the Bible not only insight into understanding evil and suffering, but he's also given us ways in which we are to respond to evil and suffering. Now, these are ways that followers of Christ are certainly expected to incorporate into their lifestyle. But I want to suggest to you that these 7 are really good suggestions for anybody and everybody. And even if you're not a believer, if you're not a follower of Jesus, you might want to take note of these, because in addition to making it a better world in which to live, it's also good for your own mental and emotional well-being. So, these 7 responses are especially concerning evil. And the reason for that is because wherever there is evil, there is suffering. And that's not necessarily true with suffering, because where there's suffering, there's not necessarily evil. And here, of course, we're talking about moral evil, where there's a moral component, where immorality, the immoral actions of someone else are affecting the people in the world around them and affecting you and me. So what I want to do is run through these 7 responses, just to give you an overview, and then in subsequent segments we will at least scratch the surface of each one of them. Now, the first response actually has 3 different components to it. In this response is that of self-examination, repentance, and hope. And this concerns the question, to what extent do we find ourselves contributing to the evil and suffering in the world around us and in the lives of the people around us? The second is the response of non-participation. We don't support evil. We don't get involved with evil. We stay away from it. The third is not only non-participation that we're called to, but also opposition. We not only stay away from being involved with that which is evil, but we stand in opposition to it actively. The fourth one is the pursuit of justice, the effort to make things right. The fifth is forgiveness. Forgiveness toward the one who has perpetuated evil, inflicted evil in your life. The sixth is mercy. And this not only has to do with mercy shown to the perpetrator of evil, and it does that, but also mercy toward those who are the victims of evil and who are suffering because of it. Which then brings us to the seventh, and that is care for the suffering, is a response that followers of Jesus are called to do. And this involves an investment of our lives into the lives of others. Now, that's an overview, and what we'll do in subsequent segments is begin to, again, as best as we can, at least scratch the surface. All right? Cheers. And thanks, y'all.